Hey guys, Subzikid here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to use Twixtor inside of After Effects. But if you already haven't seen my tutorial which I uploaded yesterday, it's called No Need for Twixtor. It's basically an effect which is already inside of After Effects. It's not a plugin, it's already there, like when you install After Effects. And it's like Twixtor, and it gives you amazingly smooth slow motion, just like Twixtor. It uses like pixel motion frame blending, just like Twixtor. So say if you can't get Twixtor, you don't like Twixtor, it glitches up for you because it's a plugin, or you just want to try something different, just click on that annotation right hand corner and it will link you up to that tutorial. So that's that. So time for this tutorial. You want to make a new composition, so Control N, and make the duration quite a bit longer than the actual clip. So this 2 minute, it's a 2 minute composition when the clip's only about 10 seconds. But I'll explain it all later in due course. And then what you can do is just import your insert your clip there. I'll just zoom in a bit. And what you want to do is just remember your frame rate. So if you just like click on your footage and it should say like blah 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 FPS, mine's 59.94, so that's all good. And what you want to do now is just in effects and presets, just type in Twixtor and drag on some Twixtor or Twixtor Pro. Doesn't make a difference, I don't think. And then type in that frame rate you just saw, and so it was 59.94 for me. And basically the way Twixtor works and makes such smooth slow motion is by pixel motion. And then what it does, it creates frames in between frames. So like say if you Twixtor something, it like you have like say 500 frames in this whole piece of footage, but then by the end of it you will have like 1,000 frames because it's made extra frames because it's smart like that. And basically what it does, when you have your frame rate, you want a high frame rate, no lower than 59.94. so you don't want 29.97 or 30, because it's not going to come out right. Because what it does is like say in this frame there's a pixel there, and then the next frame, so say if I go about here, that pixel's there, and I go to the next frame and now that pixel's there, and basically it just Twixtor tracks each pixel and where it is each frame, and then it can just make frames in between those frames. But if you have like 30 frames per second, that pixel's there, and then the next frame is going to be like somewhere like off the whole thing, because it's just not as many frames. The higher frame rate the better, basically. So after you've done that, in this, first I'll tell you some good tips. Let me just find a good spot. Okay, here. As you can see, when it shoots, this hand comes in, it comes from underneath, and then you can see it's there and it goes out of the screen. When it's coming in, when the hand comes in and goes out, the edges are gonna warp. The edges are just gonna warp like hell. So when you Twixtor, you want to make sure that the thing you're Twixtoring is in the screen at all times during the Twixtor duration, like the amount you Twixtor it in. When you're Twixtoring, you don't really want to Twixtor this part too much, because the hand's gonna come in. Like if you Twixtor that part there where you can see the hand, that's just gonna warp the edges. It's just like gonna warp, and that doesn't look good. But yeah, that's just a good tip there. So you want to make sure that it's always in the screen at all times, the part you're Twixtoring. Like even when you're running with this gun, you can see the whole gun's there. If you just move forward a bit, you can see that it goes out a bit. That part will warp if you Twixtor that part. Okay, enough of that, and I'm just going to be Twixtoring where he zooms in and when the score is like biggest, so it will emphasize it or something. So like, yeah, plus 150 XP because he got a headshot. Yeah, like that. So let's see. Now this is the keyframing part. So he starts zooming into the scope about there. So what you want to do on the output control and speed, hit that stopwatch, and then click on your clip down here and hit U, so we'll bring it up here. It's just easier than having to have all of this out, because it's just all really cramped up. So I just like clicking on that, hitting U, so you only have the speed, because that's all you need to control. So after you've done that, hit page down twice, so you go forward 2 frames. Page down makes you go frame forward, page up makes you go frame to the previous frame, and it's easier to navigate with frames. And then so go forward 2 frames, make another keyframe, and set the speed to whatever you want. So it depends how slow you want it. I'll set it to about 2, so it'll be nice smooth slow motion there. So it's there, and I will stop the zooming in after about a second, so about there, and then make a keyframe and then go forward 2 frames and then set it back to 100. So it should be like normal speed, slow-mo, normal speed. And then let's emphasize the headshot he got. So find the point where the score is first like fully formed. So there it's a bit warpy, like it's kinda, can't really see it properly, but there it's fully solid. Find the first frame where it's fully like solid so you can see it, and make a keyframe on it, and then go forward 2 frames and make another keyframe and set this to whatever speed you want. So I'll set it to about 2 again. And like I said, with the hand it's gonna warp a bit, and as you can see it does warp. So that's something there, but this is just a tutorial, it doesn't have to be perfect, just telling you how to use it. So after about there, maybe not too long, just about there, I'll make another keyframe, go forward 2 frames, make a keyframe and set it to 100 like that. So it's like normal, slow, normal, slow, and then normal. And then let's just let these 2 shots just, or maybe we can just slow down the zoom in of the scope. So we start zooming in there, so keyframe, forward 2 frames, set it to 2, then go forward a bit, so about a second or maybe a second and a half if you're feisty. Yeah. And then make another keyframe and then go forward 2 frames and then set it to 100 like that, and it'll go, and then maybe slow this zoom in again. I'm just adding loads of Twixtor so you can just see how it works. So there, make a keyframe, forward 2 frames, set it to about 2, and then go forward, say about a second or however long you want it to Twixtor for. So about a second or something. Make a keyframe, go forward 2 frames, set it to 100, and it's like, oh yeah, and then he like goes and gets another dude there because he's a boss. So let's start zooming in there, so about there. Let's make a keyframe, go forward 2 frames and set this to about 1 because we're amazing, because we can, and zoom it in for ages until about there, and then make a keyframe, go forward 2 frames and then set it to 100, and then he goes ka-ching. And as you can see, this is all Twixtors, like yeah, you get it. But then it's just like casually going on, and then it's like, what happened to the rest of my clip? I had like another 10 kills or whatever. Oh yeah, you get it. So it's just like, it just cuts off. This is why you had to make the composition longer. This is why you have to make the composition longer, because basically we need to stretch this out so it will carry on. One way you can do it, and one way most people do it for some reason, is they right click on the clip, go to time, then they go to enable time remapping, and then they just stretch it out like that, and it works. Like, you can see the rest of the clip. But what I don't like about it is that time remapping is a time effect. So is Twixtor. So it's like two different time effects on one, and it's just confusing. Sometimes it glitches up, like the time, it just like goes back and forth, and it's kind of weird. So what I prefer to do, I'm not saying you have to do it, you can do the time remapping way, but I prefer to do this, and because it makes a bit more sense to me for some reason, is I right click on your clip, right click on the clip, go to pre-compose, and leave all attributes in comp, and then comp 1 or whatever, and hit OK. And then you'll see it's like this little brown thing. If you just double click on it, it will open up another tab here, so you can like see it here. Oops, like that. And now what you do in this one, when you've like double clicked it here and you've opened up this new tab, right click here, go to composition settings, and set the duration to, whoops, don't know what I did there, set the duration to just longer. So I'll set it to about 2 minutes and hit OK. So now you can see this composition is longer. And then if you go back into comp 1, the main composition, you can see that you can just stretch it out like that. And now you'll see when you go along. So it was Twixted there, he gets that kill, but at first it like cut off here, but now it actually carries on like normal, and then it just stops there. So, and then you can just like maybe just shorten it down, and that's the way I get the rest of the clip. I don't like doing the time remapping. And then what you can do is just render it out and go blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, I can use Twixtor because you followed my tutorial. So that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. If this helped, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and maybe even favorite the video. Yeah, don't forget to watch that other tutorial if you want another way to get smooth slow motion, if Twixtor doesn't work for you or you just want a different way. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll leave a quick render of that so you can just see how it came out like. It's not the best Twixtor because I was just doing it quickly for a tutorial. I would refine it, get rid of like edge warp, because there are ways to reduce it. So I'll leave a render of that, so see ya. Sunlight hurts my